What's up, everybody? It's Hoss Power from the Unstoppable Buds Express. You know us primarily for playing Phasmophobia, but we're going to do something a little bit different today. One of my big loves in the gaming world right now is Magic the Gathering, the card game. So we'll play a little bit of Magic Arena, just a little bit of change of pace here, I suppose. And we're going to be doing Death Shadow. If you know anything about Magic the Gathering, there are many formats associated with the game. We're playing on Magic Arena today. That kind of limits our formats a little bit. Kind of full disclosure, not a big fan of Arena in regards to the availability of formats you can play. I'm more of a modern Pioneer player, but I don't have access to the cards on Magic Online, and it's kind of boring anyway watching it. But recently, Historic has piqued my interest a little bit because of the introduction of Historic Anthology 4, which gives us this card, which is Death Shadow. Death Shadow is a card that is a modern format staple. In fact, the archetype right now is a very high tier deck in that format. Particularly the Jund Death Shadow deck, which I actually have built in paper, believe it or not. I've been playing over webcam. But it's been introduced to Historic, so people have been trying to figure out, can we make Death Shadow work in this format? Because we are missing some tools that we do have in some of the older formats that makes Death Shadow such a threat. I'm not going to go over the rules of the game. Just going to kind of assume if you're watching this, you kind of understand Magic or just want to just watch some games. But basically, I'll go over the deck, I'll go over what Death Shadow is trying to do, and we'll play some games and see how we do. Haven't played in a while, so this is going to be interesting. Get back in Magic Online. I'm fairly low ranked, but whatever. We'll see what people are using. So anyway, Death Shadow is a creature. It's a 1 mana creature, which means it only costs 1 black mana to play. And it's a 13/13. If you know anything about creatures in Magic, a 13/13 1-drop creature card is incredibly strong. Okay, like you don't get that very often. It's almost a game ender on its own. That being said, it does have a drawback to it. If you look at the card text, it says Death Shadow gets -X/-X, where X is your life total. So that basically means that you can't actually play a Death Shadow and have it stick to the board until you're under 13 life. And basically, its attack and toughness will increase as you lose life. So once I'm down to 12 life, I put a Shadow down to 1/1. I'm at 10, it's a 3/3, so on and so forth. So Death Shadow as an archetype is interesting because you're actually trying to hurt yourself. Which no other deck archetype in the game actually does that. So it's a very unique play style. Again, modern format stable, huge in that format. And it's a very interesting play style because you're not normally trying to kill yourself when you're playing Magic. You want to keep a high life total so you can not die. So playing Death Shadow is pretty intense. You have to be really careful with your life total, and you don't mind that life total going down. And basically the goal is to get under 13 life as quickly as possible and get some shadows down and just win the game. We do have some other tools. We have some other creatures that have been added to the archetype over the past few sets that have really helped with that, which we'll go into. Regarding Historic, though, so Historic lacks certain tools when compared to Modern, which is the other big format where Death Shadow is played. Namely, and I've got some paper copies here, probably most importantly, it lacks fetch lands. I have a copy of a fetch land there, Polluted Delta. Fetch lands are great cards anyway because they let you basically fix your mana if you're running a multicolored deck. They're really important for Death Shadow, though, because in order to use a fetch land, you have to pay 1 life. So you have to pay 1 life, sacrifice a fetch land, and then you can find the land that you need. Typically in Death Shadow, you're fetching for a shock land, something like a Godless Shrine, shock it in, and then you'll take basically 3 damage right there just with 1 land play. Historic doesn't have fetch lands. It probably never will have fetch lands. It's more of a modern legacy thing. So we have to work with what we've got. It's also missing another important piece, although hopefully this will come soon, in Temur Battle Rage. Temur Battle Rage is an instant that gives a creature double strike, which lets it attack twice. But most importantly, if you have a creature with 4 more power, it gives you trample, which basically means that even if the creature's being blocked, it's going to get through. And Temur Battle Rage, TBR, as commonly known, is your big finisher in Death Shadow decks. Basically, if you get a Death Shadow or a Scourge of the Skyclaves down to a lot of power, you play a TBR, you just win, pretty much. We don't have that in Historic right now. So hopefully if we get a Khans of Tarkir remastered set soon, we'll get it in. But that is a piece that's missing, and I think that once TBR does get into the Historic format, if it does, I think Death Shadow's going to be a big player. And then finally, we do have a common removal spell in Death Shadow that's not available in Historic, and that's Dismember. Dismember lets us pay 4 life in addition to 1 mana to heavily damage a creature, which is good for removal anyway, but it also, we take 4 damage. We don't have these cards as utility, so because of that, Death Shadow isn't really like a tier 1 deck, but I think it's strong enough that you can get some wins with it, and a lot of decks right now aren't really preparing for it, I don't think, at least on the ladder. So we'll kind of go over what we do have, and then how we can utilize the cards that are available to us in order to activate Death Shadow and get it going. So first of all, I'm playing a Lurrus version of this deck. Lurrus is a companion that limits the CMC or mana value, whatever you want to call it, of your cards, or your permanent cards, in order to run it, but he lets you recur those permanents over time from your graveyard to give to the board, which is really nice in Death Shadow, because if you have Death Shadow, is one disadvantage of playing Shadow is it does die to Fatal Push, which is a very common removal spell. Lurrus can help you get it back. I have seen a lot of lists, and they may be the better lists, I don't know, that run a Captain of Eos. I'm not going to bring them up. Captain of Eos lets you tutor basically for 2 creature cards with 1 mana or less. So you can get Death Shadows into your deck. It's probably the better version now. I don't have any Captain of Eoses, and I'm not going to pay money to get them. So, but in order to run Captain of Eos, you can't run Lurrus as your companion. You'd have to run it on your main board. But we're using a Lurrus version. He's good for recurring your creatures. Running Mardu colors here. Really, we're only splashing red for 1 card. But we're primarily playing white and black spells. Going over the land base, lots of shock lands. We want to be able to damage ourselves pretty good. Not a full play set of any one other than Godless Shrine, but this is enough to kind of just, consistently get in your hands and cause some damage to yourself. Since we are a faster deck, Concealed Courtyards, our fast land's pretty nice. We can stick that in the first couple turns and have access to 2 colors of mana. And then further mana fixing with the pathway here, kind of gives us what we need. Again, not an optimal for Death Shadows at Archetype, not an optimal mana base, but it's what we have, so that's what we're going to use. We also have Agadeem's Awakening as a potential land. It can give us that if we decide to put it in as an untapped land, and we take 3 damage, we bolt ourselves, and that can kind of, in a way, give us that fetch land shock play that you can do in Modern, except you only get 1. You don't thin your deck, and you only get 1 color of mana. I guess as an added benefit of running this card is we can run the spell side of it, and we can recur creatures from our graveyard. That's probably what makes Agadeem's Awakening really the only good or consistently good of these bolt lands. That's our mana base. It's pretty painful. I would say that, a good first turn play, if we want to get Shadow down fast, is a Godless Shrine or a Blood Crypt. Shock ourselves into a Thoughtseize, take 2 more damage. It's going to be 4 damage right off the bat, and plus we get to get some hand disruption. This is another great, it's probably the most played spell in Historic right now, probably the best card in the format. Gives us hand disruption, and for our purposes also damages ourselves. As far as creatures are concerned, of course we have full play set Shadow. Shadow's partner in crime, Scourge of Skyclaves. Used to be when this card came out, and you would see a lot of like RB Shadow decks running around in Modern. So they'd be called 8 Shadow because this functions very similarly to that card, except because it deals with life totals, right? So if you put a Scourge of the Skyclaves down with everybody has 20 or more life, it just dies when it hits the board. Um, you basically have to balance out damage to your opponent and yourself. But because of how this card works, he can end up being almost as or even bigger than Death Shadow in a lot of cases. Like, say you've got 14 life, your opponent has 10, it's going to take the highest life total into account for its powers. Come down as a 6/6. That's really good for a 2-drop, right? And as you continually damage your opponent, take damage, it's going to be really big, really fast. So Scourge is an essential piece to this deck. It plays hand in hand with Shadow. As far as other creatures, neither of them Legion. Probably best we can really do regarding 1-drops. As either you or your opponent takes damage, this thing can grow. As long as it's your turn and at least one player takes 4 or more damage, you get a +1/+1 counter on this guy. So that's going to add up really quickly. Plus, you can pump it if you have some extra mana to make it even stronger, give it Death Touch. Unfortunately, we lack Monastery Swiftspear, which is another really big component in a lot of the Shadow decks as a 1-drop. But this is, we're making do. I think this one works fine. Got Selfless Savior for some utility, so we can give indestructibility to our creatures. And then as far as other spells, I forgot this is another potential land. Sajiri's Shelter can protect our shadows, as well as God's Willing. Again, it gives you protection from colors. Adanto Vanguard, forgot about this one. So this is a pretty interesting creature we can play here because it does give us control of our life total. Basically, we can activate the Vanguard's ability anytime we want to take 4 damage and give it indestructible, which normally you would use if it's going to be killed. But if you've got a couple shadows on the field and they're not very big, just activate his ability once or twice and suddenly they're big, right? So that's primarily why we run this guy. He could be a nice beater, obviously, because he's hard to remove and he's going to be at least doing 3 damage if he gets a hit in. But we do primarily run him for that control of our life total to get our shadows bigger. 4 life's a lot, but especially if you get him down early or if you have some wiggle room and you're not playing against burn, it's very nice. Feed the Swarm we can use for removal. Again, we take damage when we remove a creature or an enchantment this way. This is usually a sideboard card in black, but it's not bad as a main board here, simply because we wanted to do damage to ourselves. Dire Tactics, again, it'll let us exile a creature. The drawback to this card is if you're not running a human, you take damage, which we're not running any humans. We don't care about taking damage. That's fine. Plus, you get to exile creatures, which is great against Lurrus decks. Lots of Pyromancer Arcanist builds running around, and getting rid of creatures is really good in those decks from the graveyard. And then Final Payment's another one. We can destroy a creature with this. But if we don't sack one of our own creatures or pay 5 life, then we, basically have to choose one of those in order to get it to work. And we're almost always going to pay 5 life because we're going to take damage. Don't need a full play set of this because, again, 5 life is a shit ton of life. We don't want to lose that much very often. But it can help activate your shadow on turn 3. And then finally, we've got Claim to Fame. We're primarily going to use the claim side of this. If we have a Sacred Foundry down, we can certainly use Fame to pump up a creature. But all of these creatures in the deck, I guess, other than the Vanguard, because it can make itself indestructible, we're vulnerable to Fatal Push. So it's not going to be all that uncommon for Death Shadow to hit the graveyard or a Scourge to hit the graveyard. This is just an easy way to get it back if you don't have Lurrus down. And then the second part of it, we can cast from the graveyard. Again, if we've got a Foundry down, we can easily do that, pump up a creature, possibly get lethal. So that's the main deck. Sideboard, we've got some options. Deadweight's nice for recurable with Lurrus on the field. Anti-creature card. Only need one of them because you can recur it. Duress against control decks. Soul Guide Lantern against graveyard decks. Possible Purifying Light against decks that run Fatal Push. More Feed the Swarms, and then Mire's Grasp is, again, another nice anti-creature card that you can recur with Lurrus on the field. So we're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. Again, I've not played... I've tested this deck a little bit, but I've not played a lot of Arena lately, so we'll see how we do. I love Death Shadow. I love playing Death Shadow in Modern. Like, it's a deck that I will always play, even if it's not, tier 1. It's always a good time. And I am excited it's in Historic. I'm hoping that it gets more tools kind of as the metagame progresses. We get more sets and stuff like that. So hope you enjoy. We're going to play some ranked, see if we either whip ass or get our asses kicked. Okay, we got a game here. Express. Or that's Gunder. Probably not. On a draw here, that's not especially good. But, see how we do. This deck can grind. That is something it can do. Alright, well, we have a Thoughtseize. 4 lands. Well, 3 lands and no spell land. I think I'm going to have to kick this one back. The problem with having 2 Scourges as your only creatures in your opening hand is I have no way to damage my opponent. So unless they're playing like a shock land or something, I can't guarantee I'll get them to the board. Do I keep it though? I think I keep this. I don't know. This is such a greedy keep. Fuck it. We're going to keep it. Let's see what we got. We'll just hope he plays a shock land, right? Not a shock land. It's alright. Oh man, another Agadeem's Awakening. We're just going to bolt ourselves. We're going to take 5. Let's see what he's running there. Ether Gust. Shark Typhoon Explorer. Okay, so he's going to have to shock. If he wants to play one of those cards, we get rid of Shark Typhoon. I don't want to deal with that. Okay. Alright, so we can play out our Scourge, which we will do. Play Goblet Shrine. It's only a 2/2, but as I damage this guy, I don't really think he's going to have a creature down. So unless he's got some kind of removal, he's running... This is Bant control, looks like. That Ether Gust is completely worthless to him right now, because they have a... That's unfortunate. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Okay, we're okay, though. I think what we'll do... Let's play another Scourge. And then we'll keep this up, I guess. We can keep the God's Willing up. So he'll be able to kill one of these. But I'm pretty far behind, unfortunately. That's okay. It's not really what I wanted to have happen. Protect from white. Thoughtseize ain't gonna do it. Now he can't attack me, but I'm just really far behind here. He's ramping up to something. Alright, well this is okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I think... We're gonna attack, and I'll just give one of them indestructible. What the hell? I couldn't activate him. Oh shit, I forgot, because I can't sacrifice. Okay, that was a bad play. I don't see this card very often, so... Oh well, I made him a 4/4 at least. That's what I wanted at the end of the day, but... I need to get a shadow down. Alright, well that's okay. We'll stick this guy. Alright, this is gonna force... He's gonna let that go, interesting. Alright, well... He's a 5/5 now, so that's good. We got rid of him, so that's alright. Now, is he going to be able... No, he doesn't have enough mana to cast all of this, thankfully.
Keep an open mind.
I mean, that's not terrible, actually. I think he plays the Nissa, doesn't he? I think he's got to. I can actually get one of these back next turn. So unless he has some kind of a board wipe, he's kind of in trouble. And even with a board wipe, it's not good. I do have enough for this. Is he running Settle the Wreckage? That's the only thing. Probably not. I think he's going to do this. He's going to have to commit to memory. Shark Typhoon, really? Huh. Guess I should have been interesting. So he's gonna kill that. Oh, he's gonna let that go? Really? That's interesting.
This is overwhelming.
Alright, yeah, let's do this. Do I play? Nah, I'm gonna put Lurrus into my hand. I think that's probably a better play. Sure, whatever. He's probably just gonna play the memory, but it's not as good if he doesn't have Narset. I don't know. Shock something in. What do you got, buddy? I have this Aghanim Awakening, get me both those cards back. Just playing Nissa. Fair enough. Well, okay.
The land shall conquer you.
Unless he's got some kind of a... He doesn't. He doesn't have a counter spell. This is Grande. Let's see. So we can get 2 of them back. We'll pay. Man, I'm still like not in the best, you know, place right now. Because there's no telling what he's got, but if he has like if he has a Wrath of God, okay, that's fine. So my Lurrus goes away, but I get more cards. Oh, baby. Problem is, what does he have now, right? Like, I don't know. I have another Scourge, I have a Death Shadow. He's just trying to ramp up, but... So I could feed the Swarm on something. He can't really attack. I mean, he can... I gotta be kind of careful with my life total here, but I have some options. It's just still ramping up, so... Didn't find a land, though, so it means he's got stuff. Definitely gonna stick this other Savior down. I don't care about that. He still can't play Wrath of God, so I don't care. I'll just kill it with the Feed the Swarm. That's good to see. Alright. We just win. Boom. That's what I like to see. Alright, so we know what he's playing. I guess kind of my question is, what do I bring in? What's not good? Obviously the Savior's not that good because he's got Yasharn. I think more removal is actually probably okay. I think I'm going to bring in... What's not good? Obviously the Savior's not that good because he's got Yasharn. I think more removal is actually probably okay. I think I'm going to bring in... What's not good? I think more removal is actually probably okay. I think. No, definitely some Duresses, because he's a control deck. I think Final Payment's probably not that. Oh, I want more. I think Final Payment's probably not great. We'll just bring in all of our Duresses. God, honestly, I think it's, well... You know, Mire's Grasp isn't terrible if he's playing Yasharn. It also gets rid of the Nissa land. I don't know. Claim's still good. The Vanguard's good. This is good. Let's bring in a Mire's Grasp over a Duress, I think. And maybe dump. We'll dump a Dire Tactics. Let's see how that goes. I don't know. I'm not bored against this thing. I don't know what he's going to be bringing in. Maybe some Graveyard Hate. But I don't know. Yeah, we can stick this hand. Not a very painful hand, but we have a Duress. We can play. That's pretty damn good. I really need another black land though. Just Duress him. What are we getting rid of? Definitely Nissa. So this isn't great, but we'll do this. I know I can't do that shit. We'll just play you. And I'll just play that. Go. Just say go. Got a Crisis too, but he's not going to play it this turn. I can just ditch it with the Thoughtseize. Would love a black shock land. Didn't get it, unfortunately. That really sucks. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize him. See what he's got. Gargaroth, huh? He can play that next turn. He ain't gonna. Damn, this mana is bad because I would love to have gotten shock land for black so I could pump. So basically I have to decide, do I shock and pump this? I don't think that's the play. I think I just need to play this. Damage, yeah. He's gonna play that. He's gonna play this, I think. No, he's not. That's an interesting play. Well, there's my shock land for black. Alright, we will attack with both. So we can pump them up. I don't want to deal with this, so weird play there. Alright, I do want to take some damage, so Wrath of God, that's what I'm fearing. Well, he doesn't have Wrath of God, I can see his hand, I forgot. And there's the Crisis. So he gets some life back, but I can still attack into him. There's a Shadow. I'm gonna attack some more. Is he gonna... He's gonna let this go too. He's getting a lot of card advantage though, which is not great. Let's just keep shocking ourselves, and then next turn I'll be able to play a Shadow out. I mean, that's pretty much my only option. That's not good. That is not what I wanted to see. Although, actually, I don't mind him hurting me, though, right?
The land fights for us.
Okay. It would have been nice. Okay. Bump it up. Do some damage. Okay. We can just play both shadows out. That's 4/4s. So still not doing great here. Like, I really need more of a board presence. I mean, I have a good board presence, but he has so many cards. Okay, so we're gonna get some more. God's Willing would be cool. Got it. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this is bad. This is where we kind of just start to really fall behind.
Be wary of the ground you walk on.
If I draw another shadow, that would be good. We're definitely going to stick this. Myers Grasp this, I think. But I'm really far behind, unfortunately. I guess my question is, do I Thoughtseize? I think I do, just see what he's got, but I don't think this is happening. Yeah, we're pretty much boned here, unfortunately. I guess I'll. Yeah, we're done. I don't think I'm gonna kill myself. Gotta get 3. Yeah, we just didn't have it there. So I think on the play. I think the duress. I think this is still fine. I'm gonna dump the God's Willing though. Full duress and a Feed the Swarm, I guess. Because I can get rid of a Shark Typhoon if he hard casts it. So. Yeah, unfortunately, I just couldn't. We'll play. God, the mana is so bad. Like I didn't even technically get a land. This is still not a. This is the same exact hand I had before, almost. Yeah. Okay, this is better. We will keep. I'll keep it. I got dump 2. I think Agadeem's the way to go. See, the Agadeem's is the pathway. I think we'll just get rid of the pathway, and I want all these cards. That's the problem. Just get rid of that. Duress him. Dump that. That have his removal. I will be able to play the Scourge. That's a good draw. If I get a hit in, I'll be able to play it next turn. It'll stick to the board. Obviously, he kept a full 7, so that's not good for me. Oh, even better. Alright, if he doesn't get something down next turn, he's in trouble. So he needs to have a Yasharn or even like a Krasis for this to happen, right? Of course, him having a Wrath of God would be good for him too, but no, he hasn't got that. So he's going to take a shit ton of damage, which is obviously good for me. Well, that sucks. If I get to Feed the Swarm, I can take care of it, but I did not. Well, he's going to take 8. Alright, he's got to have a board wipe here, and even that won't save him necessarily. That recipe is pretty good, though, if I can't use my claim. I have it mean anything. It's fine. I still win. Unless he has a way to get rid of one of these. I still beat him. So I can just pump my knight. And we'll just do this. Well. Yeah, dead. Got him. Woo, alright. Well, that worked. Silver, rank 4. Yeah, he just didn't have any gas. I mean, he had some good-ish cards against me. The Rest in Peace is good. I forgot that was a card in Historic. Basically means nobody has a graveyard, so Claim would have been no good. He was too reliant on ramp, though. And Duress and Thoughtseize just feast upon ramp decks. Because they like to keep a lot of lands and a lot of cards that let them get more mana, and you just take away their spells, and that's it. So, yeah, definitely had some all-stars there. Scourge came through. Scourge can definitely, so, like, obviously you have to damage your opponent to get him active and online, but a nice thing about this format, I guess, is that unless you're playing against a mono-colored deck, the shock lands are super common, so a lot of times they just hurt themselves just putting their lands down. So, okay, we're going to try another one, see if I can get to Mythic. Alright. Bronze player. Yeah, whatever. Rank doesn't really matter, unless you're in Mythic. Get to play, which is Muy Grande. Is this a playable... Playing Yorion. Sure. Like, God, these... Yeah. I gotta stop thinking this is a land. We'll keep it. We'll keep it, so... He's mulling down. What he's playing. Yorion's normally running like control decks. Thoughtseize would be a great draw here, because then I could pump the knight. It is a control deck indeed. Let's go ahead and... I'll play the Scourge now, yeah. Let's play the Scourge now. That was a 1-1. This forces him to do something about it, though. Looks like he's got something. Got some removal. Yeah. It's alright. I'll just get rid of him. Go ahead and Thoughtseize. So I'll lose another creature. I think I'm gonna get rid of the Doom Foretold. No, I'm gonna get rid of this. Alright, we have a Shadow online now, too. Okay, I wanted to dump that because I would like to keep this on the field. So let's see what he's got. We're gonna do a lot of damage to him, though. So he's running an enchantments deck. Let's go ahead and hit him in. He's probably got some kind of removal spell. He does not. That's interesting. What I want to... Well, he's definitely playing Doom Foretold. So let's just do that. I guess I could have put Lurrus in my hand. Doom Foretold's not as good against me because I can recur creatures, but that's totally waste play. I guess I'm about to sack a card. But I'll have enough to get at least a knight back with Agadeem's Awakening, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Resolve it, get rid of him. Now an 8/8. Yeah, I pretty much have to play it. Oh shit, I can't play it. Well, shit. I can't play it. I don't have enough. I didn't realize I didn't have enough mana to do that. We'll put this into my hand, and I guess I'll just play that as a land. That sucks. Yikes. Okay, so I'm gonna lose my Scourge. And unless I get a... Well, no, I can get something back with Lurrus. I'll be okay. I can get the Scourge back with Lurrus. Well, no, I'm not. Now he's going to take it. So I'm entirely dependent on getting a black mana. If I do, then we're okay. If I don't, then we're in trouble. We're in big, big, big trouble. So yeah, okay. I mean, whatever. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, so now I'm going to lose the Scourge, which sucks. If I get a claim, that would be nice. Did not. There's my black land. Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. That just didn't work out. I didn't realize I didn't have enough mana to cast that. Alright, there we go. We'll pay 3. We'll get them all back. Stick it, baby. Lethal. What do you got? You got a board wipe? Probably. It's probably got a board wipe. That would suck. It would suck really bad. Binding the Old Gods, we're just gonna get rid of the... I can just get it back, obviously. Not quite lethal, but... It does reduce the power of the Scourge, but at this point it doesn't really matter, right? I just have straight lethal on board. He has to have a board wipe here. He knows I have a God's Willing. Yeah, he didn't have anything. So I can just protect any of the creatures he targets with removal. Okay. Definitely want that. Definitely want some duresses. Our creature removal is not as necessary. Get rid of that. Dire Tactics isn't as good. Do I want to dump anything else? I don't think so. I think everything else looks pretty good. He might be running Rest in Peace. Not sure. He's not really a graveyard deck though, right? No, he's an enchantment deck. He's Doom Foretold, so I do worry about getting rid of all my removal, but I just don't really see a need to keep it, especially because I have Feed the Swarm that can act as that. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of the tactics. We're just going to go with that. Because Feed the Swarm can deal with enchantments and with creatures, so it's definitely good to have. Oh man, it was scary. This is a keep. This is an amazing hand. Because if he thought seizes me, he has just a hand full of gas here to where he's, yeah, so this is absolutely, we're keeping this son of a bitch here for sure. Play tap land. Play tap land. Don't cast Thoughtseize on your boy. Come on now. Ooh, that's so good. We're gonna shock that puppy in. What do you got in there? Shit, boy. Give me that Rest in Peace. We ain't playing that shit. Come on now. Do I duress again? That's the question. I don't think I do. If he has, at the end of the day, so if he has a Oath of Kaya, or he's gonna Oath of Kaya. He's gonna Oath of Kaya this, right? Yeah, I don't care about that. So obviously I can't play my Scourge, but I don't really care about that, I don't think. Because I'm just get rid of his cards. Wrath of God goes. Binding the Old Gods goes. We Shadow. We're online. Yeah, he's putting Yorion in the hand. That's all he's got. So what do I do here? I think I'm just gonna feed the Swarm. Get rid of that. So my Shadow becomes a little bit bigger. And now the Yorion can't kill it. And I think I present lethal next turn, right? I have to be careful with my life total, though. That's the only thing. Yeah, he's just dead. Like, he just couldn't do anything. Dead, mate. Alright, just a quick round, just run down there. This deck pretty much just plays non-creature spells other than Yorion. So, again, like Duress, Thoughtseize. I mean, I drew 3 Duress, it's pretty lucky, but it just took away any option he had. And when you can stick a Vanguard down, you kind of control your Shadow's power, so... that was a pretty easy win. Doom Foretold's kind of not, I think, is probably a pretty good matchup for Shadow, just because it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't do anything until like turn 4. Like that's the thing. Like it needs to ramp up and get its enchantments down and get a Yorion down to do its thing, and it has no way to really ramp other than Binding of the Old Gods, which again is cast on turn 4 and is completely vulnerable to Duress and Thoughtseize. So that was a pretty elementary win there. Alright, let's play one more, I think. And then see how we do from there. Alright, 2-0 so far. Let's see if we can get the 3-0 in this little video. I'm gonna play another game, I think. Alright, so this hand is bad if they don't have creatures. I don't think I can keep this. It's too light on threats. Alright, well this hand is just not good in general, unless they shock themselves. I'm going to go ahead and keep it though, I think. Against my better judgment. I can get Shadow fairly quickly, so let's just do that, I guess. If they shock themselves, then I could play Scourge, but I think this was a bad keep. I didn't want to mull down anymore, though. He's playing Giganta, so it might be the Jund sack deck, which is pretty terrible matchup for us. Alright, well, at least he's shocked. Yeah, that's what he's playing. Alright, go ahead and play out Scourge. Which, unfortunately, he can kill if he's got, well, he can just eat the food and kill it, honestly. If he has a cat oven, then it also dies. My plan is to play Thoughtseize next turn and then play Shadow. he's looking to see what the card does. You don't see Scourge in really any other format other than Modern most of the time. It's not really until Death Shadow came to Historic. It wasn't really a Historic playable card. It's definitely not a Standard playable card. There's nothing to support it in that format. Same with Pioneer. Like Scourge is a Modern card at this point. Yeah. That's honestly what I figured he would do. But what a waste of a food, right? This has some potential here. Let me go ahead and Thoughtseize him first and see what he's got in there. Got Woe Strider. It's not good. Mayhem Devil's the bigger threat, though. Play Shadow out. It's not the most mana efficient play, but I can pump him up next turn and he can actually attack. Strider out, so I figured he'd do. Corval's going to be a problem, but he can't play it yet. This is actually not too bad. Okay, let's just start attacking him, I guess. I have the Shelter for protection. I mean, obviously, he's just gonna let this. He's not letting it go. That's weird. Huh. Probably gonna. So if he attacks with, oh, that sucks. That was a good draw. I don't think I can win this at this point, honestly. He's pretty much got me unless I can get rid of... I mean, I take this. I can't. Yeah, this is kind of no good, right? He's got too big of a board presence. I have no removal. He's just gonna block with the cat. I think I'm pretty much dead. This is I think one of the reasons that I'm just gonna concede. I can't beat him. He's gonna get Corval down. So this is one of the main reasons I think this deck is gonna struggle in Historics, because Junt Food, Junt Sack, whatever you want to call it, it's the most played deck, I think, and it just has a really good it just has a really good matchup against us. I think Selfless Savior's pretty bad. We don't care about, like, there's not really an indestructible thing we have to worry about. I don't have any artifact removal, which sucks. I wonder if playing a Braid in the sideboard is not a bad idea, because I have no way to get rid of artifacts. I think I'll play you, though. And what are we going to dump? Dump the Final Payment, because, like, I think we have enough removal. Do I want less creatures, though? I think even less creatures is probably... I think the Apostle... The Apostle is actually bad because it just has Claim the Firstborn. Let's do a Dead Weight. And I guess another Feedless Form. Yeah. This is a tough match. Like, I'm not saying it's not unwinnable, but it's tough. This is a tough matchup for us. Because there's just so much interaction that this deck can do against ours. This is okay. This is alright. We'll keep. And I'll play the knight first. Then we'll Thoughtseize next turn with a shock land. Would love that to be Blood Crypt though. It's like potentially if I get another knight, but not meant to be. Get him mulling is good for us. But yeah, no, it's just, let's see what he does. Cat. Oven. Okay. We have another Thoughtseize, which is cool. We have to shock this, unfortunately. Dump the claim. Get in. He plays a... I don't know. That oven's annoying. I have no way to get rid of it. That's the problem. He's got another one. That's good. That's a good draw there. Well, we're going to play this as our land. We will Thoughtseize. God, I wish I had another black. That's the problem. Get rid of... Do I get rid of Binding? He can't play it. Well, I don't... Actually, I don't care about Binding. It's Jegantha in hand. This is looking pretty good. Wish I had another land. That's still okay. That's actually, it's okay. I'm gonna play the Shadow out, and I can God's Willing anything he wants to do. If he wants to play the Binding, I have a God's Willing. I can protect something. I also have Claim, which is really nice. That's what he's gonna do. After that. Which one's he going after? He's trying to decide. Go after that one. I guess it's black, right? Do I want that? Yeah, I'll take that. Lurrus in the hand. He has to claim the firstborn. That is really bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is lovely. Okay, that's not great. I don't have any creatures. That's the only problem, right? We do it. We definitely attack. I mean, that's an absolute yes. You have to attack here, but of course he's just gonna sack all of this to Scry. He's gonna play the other. We'll get Lurrus down, but it's just This is where Temur Battle Rage, it just really is a great card, right? Because Temur Battle Rage is so good because that like this you get these big boards and like, you can't get through them. But TBR would be great because it would allow you to just get through the stuff. That's a little unfortunate. That's just a little unfortunate. I mean, it could be worse. He can only kill Lurrus though. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna kill that. He's gonna kill Lurrus. I don't really care, honestly. Yeah, that happens. Does he let this go? He lets it go. Interesting. All right. Well. So if he has a claim, did he? I don't remember. Did he top? If he has a claim, the firstborn, I'm just dead. But if he doesn't, then I'm good. I think he's probably gonna play the Woest Rider. Yeah, he's gonna play out the Woest Rider, which still means he needs to. Let's attack first, I think. Yeah, he's gonna have to block with everything, right? He's gonna block with everything. Save my knight. Sorry, gotta stretch. It's fine with me. I don't know if he topped or not. Shadow back. Now we're doing okay. He can't quite kill me if he has a claim the firstborn. That would still be really well. If he has a claim, if he just plays claim, then he's just dead. He's dead regardless. He's gonna have to get some kind of a board presence down here. We do have Fame that we could use for extra damage. Probably what I'm gonna do though. Yeah, he's got it. He's just gonna sack it, right? Gotta get some life. I think I just win though. Even if he eats, then he's just dead. Can eat two, not quite. I think he's dead. It really just kind of depends on what he does next turn. If he's got a Mayhem Devil, I am dead. Or if he has a cat, I'm dead, so... Yeah, it is what it is. Again, this matchup is just really it's just really awful for us. Neat. Actually, I just realized I could have killed him there. Could I? Because he could have got. Okay, he was down to. Cause that gives 3 life. That would have given +3. No, it would have saved him still. It would have saved him. Yeah, he needed a cat or a mayhem devil. Okay. Well. I guess we just keep this board. I don't really know what else to do. Do I bring in Myers Grass? Excuse me, that's the only thing I'm trying to consider. Thoughtseize is actually not as good. So I'll dump those down to 2. I guess just to have more. I don't know. I don't know how to go against this matchup. I think a lot of it's luck. It's just so hard. Because they've got so many ways to damage you. They can stick creatures. It's just... It's a tough matchup. I really don't expect to win it, especially on the play. I'm gonna keep this just because I can get rid of a goose, I guess. Like I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what to do. Like this is okay. I forgot Dire Tax is actually pretty good if they don't have an oven. It just exiles stuff. We did shock there because I'm going to start doing damage to myself. I mean, normally you don't shock if you don't have a turn 1 play, but, you know, we did because we want to get Shadow online. I'm going to go ahead and see what he's got, honestly. I mean, we're going to take the... Oh man, what do we take? Yeah, we'll take Corvold, I guess. Okay. We can Dire Tactics the... the Woe Strider. I really need to start drawing creatures, though. Actually, I don't know that I want to do that. Let's just deadweight it. And then we can play out a Vanguard. I mean, he has a claim, but how relevant that is. Unless he has an oven or something, he can't really take advantage of it. I really need to draw a... I really need to draw a creature, though. If I don't, then I'm probably going to have to just Luris next turn. Got another Woe Strider. So he has this now, which sucks. Yeah, it's not gonna be good enough, I don't think. Yeah, I'm just not drawing any gas. No lands either is bad. This is rough. This is pretty rough. Just pass the turn, I guess. We'll keep the Dire Tactics up, but these Woe Striders are really aggravating to me. He's not scrying either, which is interesting. So these goats don't really do much for him. I mean, he can use them to block, but... Another damn Woe Strider. Oh my god. this'll... He's gonna let it go. Interesting. Okay. Figured he'd sack it. Still sucks. Another Feed the Swarm's pretty good. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and just use it. I mean, I don't really know what else to do. I've got to get some damage on him. That's the problem. That's the problem. I have to get some damage on this guy, or it's all over, right? Like, he's just not gonna let me do that. I need a Death Shadow. Death Shadow would be great. He's getting Giganta in hand. He can't play this yet. He still can't play it even if he does sacks it, so I don't really know. Yeah, these things, they're worthless until I can actually, until I can actually do damage. These Scourges are worthless. Like, I can't put Lurrus in my hand. I don't know, man. This is rough, because he's got that claim, you know. He's not playing it. Still. That's a good card. I'm gonna take that. But the problem is that I can't... I need land, and I'm not getting land, and I still can't do damage to this asshole. That's the problem. Like, I hate... Is he finally going to claim it? That's the question. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. He's not clearly not drawing much either if he's playing Giganta out. And we'll just... We can avoid this. But... Now he can play out the Woe Strider, though. Oh, yikes. This is so bad, man. This is so bad. Well, I can kill something at least. I need another land, though. That's my problem. Do you not realize you... That's not going to work. He can play out the Woe Strider if he sacks this with the Phyrexian Tower. I don't know why he wouldn't. He could ping me for a damage too. Yeah. It's all over. Like I cannot do damage to this guy. That's just... See, another thing that's really missing from this format is Lightning Bolt too. I forgot about that. It's a pretty nice essential thing for Scourge. Yeah, there's just no way. Like, I think I'm just dead. There's just nothing I can do to win this. Yeah, GG's. I can't. I had no way to damage him. That's the thing. Like my hand was just bad, and that's just the way it is. Couldn't draw land. I mean, this is not a good enough land. Like, this is a shitty land. Like, this is just a bad card. And that's, again, that's a big disadvantage with Shadow and Historic, is that you're forced to play bad cards. You know what I mean? Because there's just no other option. And that deck right there, again, I think is the main thing inhibiting Shadow from being better in Historic. Because, well, one, that's probably the best deck of the format. And two, it just does so much against you. I mean, you have Claim the Firstborns that can steal all of your creatures. They could just fill the board up with just chump blockers. That was a bad matchup from the start, so is what it is. I mean, that's it. Again, this isn't what I would call probably an optimized Death Shadow deck. I'm just kind of using what I have. you really do want to do. All right, the card I was looking for is Ranger Veos. Once I stopped recording and edited out the other part where I looked like a bumbling idiot, it was the search bar was blocking it out because I alerts in my companion, that's why I couldn't find it. This is the card that a lot of the shadow decks are going to be running, and I'll probably eventually just get. I'll have to get some wild cards into it, and primarily because it does let you fetch out your Death Shadows. You can tutor them up, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's Ranger Veos is the card. So if you're considering Shadow and Historic and you've got a lot of money that you can put down on this dumb game, then surely consider this one, because I think that's probably the more optimized version of Shadow right now. But again, I'm hoping if we can get TBR in a future remastered set, I think Shadow's going to be a hoss, because some of the issues that I noted with Jund Sack, where they had a big board presence and I couldn't deal with their chump blockers, TBR didn't care about that. You know what I mean? That's your blowout card. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this game of Magic, and I'll see you around for some spooks.